Welcome to this GoalStormer Pro Masterclass, where we show Pro subscribers how to make the most of GoalStormer. And today, we're going to look at how to turn your step-by-step process into a systemised offering in an afternoon, to grow your business while still giving clients great personalised support and without the time-consuming, boring admin. Now, you're in the right place if you're a coach, mentor or manager that helps people with goals, or if you earn income using your experience to help people achieve. If you're making money but doing way too many low-value hours. You're also in the right place if you've tried systemising your processes before, but it's just too difficult to learn and pull everything together. You're in the right place if you want to start using your experience to help others in a new business or role, but want to avoid making some key mistakes. So, whether you're already a mentor or you want to become one, if you want to structure your knowledge for efficiency, this webinar's for you. By way of introduction, my name's Keith Sherring. I've worked with teams of all sizes and their achievements for over 20 years. I consult on both process and technology strategy and implementation. And I've worked with SMEs, national businesses and global companies with several thousand employees. I'm the creator of GoalStormer.com, and the work that we've done for charity and in application design has been recognised in a number of awards. So here's what you'll learn by hanging around for the next hour or so. The 9 steps to systemise your process in GoalStormer. The one critical action that saves you a ton of time every month. 3 simple approaches you can take if your client's a technophobe. 1 simple way to avoid guesswork when improving your systemised offering. Please make sure that you do stay right to the end, because I'm going to show you how to get GoalStormer Pro free for 60 days, and I'll show you how to get these slides so that you can get started right now. I'd like to take a few minutes just to share my story and tell you how GoalStormer came into being. Like many people, I suppose, I started out in a standard corporate career, working diligently, being a good team player and working on my annual objectives, usually working harder in the fortnight before my performance review, of course. And in one of those classic paradoxes, the more I learned and the more depth I went into, the fewer the people I ended up speaking to. The double-edged sword of being an industry specialist, I suppose. Now, at heart, I'm a people person, so I had a bit of a word with myself when I started to realise what was happening. You know, that thing where you go on a 2-day conference which is focused solely on the ins and outs of automatic electricity meter reading, which can be genuinely fascinating, but you realise that in the past 2 years you spent more time with some of the people at the conference than several members of your own family. So at that point, I had to decide where next. And I knew then that I needed to start my own business to take control of work and not the other way round, so that I could get out of life what I wanted. And of course, being a man of great action, I then continued to know that I needed to start my own business for another 7 years, whilst I hummed and hawed about whether I really had what it took to be that most mythical of beasts, the entrepreneur. I was held back by fear and insecurity, in other words. Then a random meeting helped me make my decision. I ended up in a long conversation with a venture capitalist who was lost in the middle of Cambridge, which is where I was working during the dot-com boom. And in between the detailed directions and the talk of internet-connected water meters, we discussed a great many things that might or might not happen with this new internet thing. And as he turned to leave and go to his hotel, he thrust his card into my hand and he said, "You know, if you ever want to join a startup, consider giving me a call." Now, I didn't normally get propositioned like that by strange men in the street after discussions about automated meter reading, so that got me thinking about whether I might be onto something with the idea generation side of the conversation. And that conversation started the ball rolling as I thought about the implications on the bus home that evening. What if I just did it and started the journey now? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? So I made a great leap, like a bounding gazelle, or perhaps more like a clumsy squirrel monkey. But anyway, full of energy and confidence, I decided to systemise my knowledge and run my own consultancy. But realistically, I knew that my overall business management experience was just too narrow. So I jumped from one of Europe's biggest technology companies and landed in a small but ambitious local business where I could both learn and make an impact. A positive one, hopefully. I built teams, recruited staff, built customer relationships, learned loads, fed into strategy and helped grow the business year after year. After 5 intense but fun years, I decided that the time was right to really face the fear and do it anyway. I handed in my notice. I had a month's worth of salary in the bank. It was 2009, the deepest part of the recession here in the UK. My company car went back, and an unexpected tax bill arrived. Yeah, I was certainly experiencing the feel the fear part of it. And then I discovered how many business people were willing to be incredibly generous with their time, experience, and their ideas when someone starts a new venture. One particular sage said to me, starting your own business is great. You only ever work half days. Pick any 12 hours you want. And yes, this time convinced me more than ever of the challenge of balancing the running of an effective and efficient business with maintaining a level of personal contact, understanding and service that I needed to differentiate myself with clients. And here's another paradox. When people love who you are and what you do, you start getting busy. Until the point when you're too busy. But when you try to grow by having other people, your customers still want you. And that's why, to help me meet this challenge and grow my own business, I decided to systemize parts of what I knew into an app, so that people were buying my experience and my process, not just my time. I knew that would take a serious amount of thought, money, time and effort, but I also knew that to grow I needed to invest, and this would be my bet. That platform became GoalStormer, and after developing the first version, I enthusiastically showed it to a hand-picked audience for some straight feedback. And as I demoed it and shared my future plans, a common theme emerged in the feedback. People asked me, hey, I want to use all of this as the platform with my clients. Can I do that now? And it was then, listening to the comments and the questions, the discussions, and seeing what made people get fired up and enthusiastic, that I realized that this had to be a platform for mentors and managers, not just an app for users. Oh, sure, I was excited about the possibilities, but there goes another year, I thought, silently weeping inside as I mentally calculated the effort and cost involved in adding all the new stuff. But I did it. I put my head down, I broke the journey down into tasks and developed new tools. And in fact, GoalStormer ended up being recognised in the National 2014 UK Mobile and App Awards as a finalist. And what's more, I achieved all of this whilst I was still doing my consulting work, helping managers and teams deliver big goals and great results. With GoalStormer, my vision is to help people unleash awesome, to let people's plans and goals take flight. It's also about multiplication. If GoalStormer can help more coaches, more advisors, more mentors and more managers, then they in turn can help more and more people achieve what matters to them. It's a sort of benign chain reaction, but without the yellow radiation suits and mutated sea bass. And it's worth remembering, because I'm also a mentor and manager, this is my solution too. It's solving the same problems for me and my knowledge as it will for you and your experience if you're a coach or a mentor like me. And because I'm just like so many other people, maybe just like you, I need to see a few key benefits. My consulting business, though based on knowledge and experience, needs to be effective, repeatable and efficient. And when I manage teams, I want clarity of accountability and responsibility, and I want regular progression and growth. I need my clients to execute and achieve on the advice, based on the advice that I give them, so that they value my services and ultimately pay my bills. And I don't want to spend lots of time cajoling and chasing and becoming the enemy. I want the system to lay the truth bare so that I can provide the positive support and motivation. Be assured, I have the scars here. I do really know what it's like to start and grow a people-centric, experience-driven business that thrives on personal service. And I'm excited for you to benefit from GoalStormer too. I want to share with you some ideas and practical suggestions for using GoalStormer now. And I want also to wish you success in using them for your own business, so I'll tell you at the end how and why to upgrade to a GoalStormer Pro subscription. So let's get into the meat of the webinar, where I'm going to show you how to use GoalStormer in order to systemize your process. So what we're looking to do here is to say, if you can systemize your step-by-step process, that means that you can write it once and many people can use it many times. It gives you more consistency. It gives you easier tracking of how person A is doing versus person B versus C and so on. And because the process has been systemized and clients are updating or staff are updating their own steps, it saves you time and saves them time as well. So we're going to talk through 9 steps to systemize your process, which I'll go through in detail and show you how it works. But basically we're going to have a look at whether your process results in one goal or many. We're going to break those down into achievable steps and realistic timings, so even big, hairy, audacious goals become achievable. We'll save your goal as a template so that others can access it and use it. I'll show you how you can use your existing resources like web pages, videos, PDFs and so on, and tie those right into your template so that people don't forget how much value that you're adding. We'll have a look at publishing and managing your templates, so that what you can do is you can make sure that they're always up to date. If they need tweaked, they're there, and people can get to them. I'll tell you about how you can take many goals and link them together so that people can follow through your program, your landmarks. And then we will look at how you can dig into the progress tracking for different people, so you can see who might need a little bit of support because they're falling behind and who's a stellar achiever. We'll have a look at exactly how you can use the system to make it much easier to provide that support. And then lastly, I'll show you just how to use some of the analysis charts that we've got so that you can do more of what works well and improve the things which aren't performing quite so well. Okay, let's have a look at how to use GoalStormer to systemize your step-by-step process. If you don't already have an account, go to web.goalstormer.com and click on the sign up for free account link, and that will allow you to create a free account which you can then log into. But otherwise, go to the website and click on the login link at the top right hand side, and that takes you through to the login screen where you can enter your details. If you don't know GoalStormer, let's just take a couple of minutes to talk through some of the main components. At the top right, you can see your momentum chart. This shows you it goes up when you do good things like create goals or steps or achieve things, and it decays over time. So if you don't engage with your goal, you can see that happening here with the downward slope. This is just a useful way of you spotting with your staff members or clients or customers how engaged they are with their goals. You then have a summary across the top here of your different goals. If you hover over the center, you can see the goal titles. If you hover around the outside, these are the steps within the goal, and you can see from the depth of color how complete or otherwise the steps are. Now, that little summary there is driven from the goals tab here, where you can see the different goals which I'm working on, and each one of these goals is composed of a number of different steps. Now, all of the steps from across all of the goals are then presented in time order in the to-do tab. So this just tells you exactly what you need to do and when. As you can see, I've got a fair few things which are overdue for this user account, and a few things which are coming up. So what we're going to do when we systemize your step-by-step process is that we're going to turn it into one or more goals which the user can find from a template and create, which gives them a whole series of steps within these goals and within their to-do list here. Now the user finds the template by going to the Tools tab and selecting Templates in the search box and typing in their keywords here. So that's just a very quick introduction to the main parts of GoalStormer and what we'll be doing. I'm going to systemize my process by creating one or more goals in GoalStormer with steps as a user would see them, and then I'm going to save those goals as templates which I can then share time and time again with users. So let's imagine that I'm using GoalStormer and my step-by-step process is going to cover getting my first piece of poetry published and generating some income for me. So as a coach or mentor, what I need to decide first, this is the first step in my 9-step process, is this going to be one major milestone or will it be many? Because that tells me how many goals I'm going to need to create within GoalStormer. So in this case, I'm going to have 2 milestones. I'm going to have the first milestone is going to be writing a great poem, and the second milestone in my step-by-step process is finding the right publisher. So what that means is I go into GoalStormer, I click on the Goals tab, and what I want to do is I want to create 2 new goals which will cover my 2 milestones. So on the Goals tab there's a big blue plus button. If I click on that, this is me creating a new goal. So my first goal title is going to be writing a great poem. So this is the first major milestone that I want to take my customers, my users through. And we're asked a few questions here. So why I care? So this is why the user would care about writing a great poem, because quality writing is easier to sell. Obviously I'm just using very short sentences here, but try and use something really emotive and powerful here, because the why I care is the subtitle of any goal within GoalStormer, and it's a constant reminder to people about why they decided to do this in the first place. So really hit the heartstrings here, hit the reasons that people will stick with this goal. And then the result that you'll get is that we'll have poems. Get my typing right. So I'll have a poem worth publishing. Now again, you'll know for your process and the stage in the process, the milestone, what are the compelling results that people will get. So make sure that you put that in there. And then when you're setting the due by for this goal, have a think about, if you were starting it today, how long would it take? So let's say we'll give ourselves a month to learn the basics of writing a good poem. So that will be 4 Wednesdays away. What GoalStormer does when you create a template is it calculates all the dates for you. So if you just imagine that you were starting the goal today, this is what you would do. Now you can, if you wish, pop notes in here. You can put a link to a picture which is hosted on a website somewhere if you want. But for the moment, this is all that you need to do to create your first goal as a representation of your milestone. So let's just click Add Goal. So there we've got write a great poem, and I said as well that I wanted a second milestone, which was find the right publisher. So if we say find the right publisher for my poem. And again, why I care, because the right publisher reaches more people, has a greater reach, and the result will be more income in this case. So this is the drivers and what I would expect to get. Now finding the right publisher might take a lot longer. That might take, I don't know, 3 months from when I've written the poem itself. So if we go forward 1 to 3 months, and then we're already a couple of weeks that we said for the previous one, so we'll say by the end of January if I was starting that today, and then add the goal. So now you can see I have a goal for find the right publisher for my poem and write a great poem. Doesn't matter that they're in the wrong order just now. Incidentally, if you do want to change goal orders, just pop into the goal settings as they were and click move up or move down as appropriate, and what happens is they now appear in the right place. The second step in systemizing your step-by-step process and turning it into a template is to take, for each of these goals that we've created for the milestones in our processes, we want to break those down into achievable steps that have got realistic timing. So for example, if we take our write a great poem, if we click on the title there, GoalStormer opens that for us, and we can see we've got the plus button to add in a new step. And so in here we'll type, what we're doing now is just brainstorming through all the different areas, all the different steps and components that we might need to write a great poem. So we might have, for example, decide on my writing style. And the way that you might advise someone to do that, or how they carry out the step, is in the details here. So we might suggest read lots of poetry and identify what you like. Okay, and we'll say that maybe that takes a week. Obviously in real life it would probably take a bit longer than that, but let's go with it just now. So we'll save that step, and then I might decide that there's another one that I would like, which is to go on a poetry writing day, and it might just be that that's something that you offer, for example, or it might be that you recommend a book or something like that, and the idea here would be to say book onto a workshop to try new things with poetry. And we might say that that's going to happen over the course of the next 10, 11 days, something like that. And we'll save that. And what we can do is we can go on through the steps in this goal, the things that we would break it down into, and we can open these up, we can edit them again. So if we said that might take a little bit longer, we can do that. And fundamentally what we can do is we can keep adding things in here, removing them, changing them round, editing the text and so on, until we're happy that in order to turn our step-by-step process into a systemized offering, we've got all the things we need to get to this milestone. And similarly, when it comes to finding the right publisher, I'll click on there and I'll add steps into here as well. So we might start by saying do an online search of publishers. And that might be something we do in a month's time. So again, you can see that what I've done is taken the two goals which represent the major milestones in my step-by-step process, and then I've broken them down into the steps themselves and described each step and given it a rough timeline as well. So now I've taken my step-by-step process, I've broken it down into goals which represent my milestones, and each goal has got a number of steps in it which helps to break down my step-by-step process and make it all achievable. So what I want to do now is turn that into a template that users can find and use to create their own goals that they can then work on. So the way I do that is going into the Tools tab, and then when you're a Pro subscriber in GoalStormer, you'll see a button called Pro Hub, and what this does is it opens up the Pro Hub console, which is a series of menus that we can use in order to manage users and templates and groups. So let's make a new template for our goal. So I've got no templates at the moment, so I'll click the Create New Template button. And what GoalStormer does is gives me a list of all of the goals that I've got as a user. And of course, there's the one that we just created there, Write a Great Poem. In this case, I'm starting it from a date. I could, if I wanted, select a type of template which ends by a date. Now that could be useful if I was aiming for, I don't know, an event like a marathon, a half marathon, or a poetry presentation or something along those lines that was on a given date. But in this case, I'm saying we're going to start from today. So I then click the Start Template button, and here we have a copy of the basic information from my goal as our initial template. Now you can edit the text here, change it, update it, and make sure that it makes more sense as a user might read it as a template. GoalStormer's done some calculations and says this template takes 27 days. That's fine, thank you very much. That's just for your information. If you wanted to fix the start or end date, you can tick the box here. That's useful if your template is guiding people towards an event, for example. The box, another box that I would recommend ticking is the Auto Coach User, if this is a high value template for the people that it's targeted at. Because what this will do is set your GoalStormer account as the coach for this goal, so you can automatically see the progress that people using this template are making. If you're creating a template as an attract tool, so you're giving away some value to people and you expect lots and lots of people to use the template and maybe a small percentage of them to then convert to being buying customers, you might want to leave this unticked so that the tracking that you're doing is of the paid people. So anyway, that's just a little hint there. You can, if you wish, on the second tab add a chart to the template. So if you were doing something like weight loss tracking or fundraising, you could stick fundraising as the title in there. It would start at 0, end at your target amount, and your units would be pounds or dollars or euros or whatever. If it was weight loss, you would put weight here, and it would start at your current weight. Target would be the obviously the lower weight, and then the units would be kilograms or pounds or stone or whatever. And you can also have a different type of chart. The last thing to do to start with is to have a quick look at the steps which have been pulled into the template from the goal. Here you can tweak the wording, you can change the orders just with the numbers there, and you can change some of the timing as well. So if we decided that really should be 10 days after the start rather than 11, we can do that. And then when we click the Make Template button, we now have the draft template ready to have some more information entered. The main thing I would suggest doing here is make sure, oops, let's get right back there, that under the profile section you write a really clear summary of why this profile exists, and use lots of search terms, things that people might search for. For example, so we might say how to make money through writing poetry and getting published. You have 1,000 characters there, so that there's plenty to talk through. Now, whilst we're still editing and fiddling about, we can leave the status as draft. When we're ready to publish it, then we can either use live or private if it's going to a group. Once you've made the changes that you want, then click on the update goal template, and you'll see a little message appear here to say that the main template has now been updated. It may be as part of your step-by-step process that you've got other web resources which are really, really useful to the people who are using your template to create a goal. So what we can do is, if you click through to the resources tab here in the Pro Hub, we can add links to your web content in here. So this could be things like PDF documents, or it could be YouTube videos, it could be your membership site where you provide extra content, or it could be things like links to Amazon books that you recommend. Whichever way, all you do is click on add a new resource link and give it a name, so my super site, and we'll pop in there the link. And we're going to set it to live so it's available immediately, and we'll save that. So now you can see that link has appeared there. When the user creates a new goal from your template, they'll get a link to all these template resources within the goal itself. So it just keeps everything really handy inside the goal. Now, if we click on the link title, you can see we now have access to a few other things. We can test the link here, and also we can set an expiry date if we wish, so that we can put lots of resources in there, and then when they're no longer relevant, we can prepare for that in advance by setting the date. Anyway, we can put lots and lots of links in there, and they will be published along with the template. Now that we've done that, that's been saved, and that's all good to go. Okay, so quick recap. We set up a couple of goals which represented the milestones in our step-by-step process, and we split across those goals the different steps that people need to take. We then created a new template which was based on those goals, and we've added some resources in there so that we can provide links to really useful information. The next thing we need to do is to publish that template. So if we go to the templates menu and manage templates, we select the template that we're interested in. In this case we've only got one, we can see it's draft. If we click on use this template, again the information is loaded up. We'll just double check that we're happy with that. We've done our profile text so that people will find it, and then under the status field, this is where we select live and update the goal template, and now what happens is your template has been published in GoalStormer for other people to find. If you want to test that, go into the main GoalStormer interface, and if we search under the Tools tab for Poem with templates selected, we should find Write a Great Poem, and this is a link through to your profile and information describing your template for writing a great poem. And this is where the user would select their date, the start date, and create a goal from the template, and that's how that works. So now your template is published and live and available to the world. Because I have a fairly complex step-by-step process that I've decided to break down into two milestones, into two goals, which each have a template, what I want to do is help the user discover at the end of the first template that they need to move on to the second one. So I'll do that by giving them a link to the second template, and here's how we do it. If we start with the second template, with the follow-on template, in the Pro Hub we go for Manage Templates, and you'll see that this is in the background I've created the second template here, Find the Right Publisher for my poem, and I've made it live. So if we use this one, there's a link here that says click here to get web links for this template. So if we open that, if we just click on it, there's a couple of web links here, and what I want to do is to copy the first of the link addresses. Now that's a web link for users of GoalStormer to find this template and have a look at it. The second link, incidentally, is for people who are not yet users. You can send that to people, and if they follow that link, it will register them as a new user and give them the template as well. So that's handy to know. Anyway, we want this top link here, which is the one for GoalStormer users. And then what we do is, again in the Templates menu, under Manage Templates, we now want to find our first one, Write a Great Poem. We want to use this template, and we've got a couple of options here. What we could do is, this is just a web link to the new template, so we could add a new resource link, and we could say, and now, so the next template, let's say next steps, next goal, whatever makes sense. You may well find that if you've got a title like Find the Right Publisher, you could say, let's just do this, now find the right publisher. And we'll pop our link in here, and we'll set that to live. So now we have a link to Find the Right Publisher, and that's the template link there. Now the other option that we could have, and in many ways I think this might be clearer for people, is that we add a new step to our first template here. So this is our first goal, our first milestone, our first stage of writing a great poem. And what we'll do is we'll copy the last step here, and we're going to call this now start the next stage of your journey. Find the right publisher. And we'll make this the third step, and we'll make it, say, 2 weeks after the start, and we'll say follow this link and use this template. And this is where we'll paste in the link, and we update that. And now what we've done is we've added an extra step onto the end of our original template here for writing a great poem, so that when the user looks at it, when they create a goal from this template, they're now going to have a last step that says, now start the next stage, and that will take them to the link, the page where they go, I want to create a goal from this template as well. So you've got this idea of the last step of every goal that a user creates is leading them to the next goal by introducing them to the template. So that's how you can chain lots of different templates together. You could also have, say, a couple of steps at the end saying, if you want to get published online, use this template. If you want to get published as part of a hard copy, a compendium of poetry, follow this one. So you can start to do branching as well, just by deciding how you use the links between templates. So that's how you can chain together lots of different templates to systemize a complex step-by-step process and turn it into small bite-sized chunks. We've got our step-by-step process turned into goals now, turned into templates, and published and out there. So what would be great now is to find out how people are doing. So the way we do that is through the templates menu and then track user progress. And then what we do is we select the template that we're interested in. In this case it's Write a Great Poem, and use this template. And here we're given a list of all of the different people who have used this template to create a goal. So you can see there are 3 or 4 people here. Now in this table we can do things like click on the column heading to sort it by progress. We can sort by date. We can do things like search for live, to see who's working on it. We can have a look at who's achieved by starting to search from that point of view. We can as well look in more detail into the progress, because obviously we can see that Floella here has achieved the goal. She's done 100%. Keith has done it 50%, and Big Bob and Mr. Middle are struggling a little bit. In fact, Mr. Middle has postponed his goal. What we can do is we can click on the goal name, write a great poem, and go through, hover over these steps, and you can see that it tells you which step they are. The olive green means that step's been done. If we have a look at Keith here, there's a red one there because that step is overdue. This one's been done. The dark green and the light green means it's live. The colour coding is consistent with the stuff here, and you can see they're just green for the postponed one. We can have a look at Big Bob as well. He's alright, he's just not done, he's not started, but he's still on time, everything's green, he's happy. So this gives us an idea of how people are doing with our templates, and also how they're doing with time as well. These dates will go red if the end date of the goal is overdue. So as you can imagine, if you've got a lot of people using your templates, you would expect that the people who've got lots of red steps are the people who need support, and the people who've got lots of dark green are the people who are doing really, really well. But as I say, lots and lots of people are using your templates. You could have hundreds and hundreds in rows here, and it may well be that what you want to do is to give some individuals more personalised support, because perhaps they're part of your paid program or something like that. So if you go into the users menu and look for the goals I'm coach for option, what this is doing is picking up the fact that, remember when we created the templates, we ticked the box that said auto coach the user. So anytime someone has created a template, when that's ticked, you have become their coach for that goal. Now, if we have a look at this, you'll see there's only one of the people who are using your template that's listed here. That's because here there needs to be a real world relationship between you and the person. You need to support them in GoalStormer, and they need to support you in GoalStormer. But once you've got that relationship in place, you can see a bit more information on them. So we've got the same sort of detail of the template and the goal that came from it, and so on. What we now have, because this is a trusted link, is an email link here, and what that does is opens up your email client with the email address of this person here, and that means that you don't have to dig around for their email address or their contact details or their phone number or whatever. It's all there in the system using the address that they use for GoalStormer. So it's just a little bit about speeding things up and being more streamlined and efficient. So there we go, there's the messages which have been as a result of me clicking on the envelope there. So I could just type, hello, it looks like you need a little bit of support, have you tried doing this, or well done, you've achieved really, really well. So it's just a way of streamlining your contact with the people who need it when they need it as well. We can have a quick look at how effective our templates are as well. In other words, how many people are using them, how many people are using one template relative to another, how many people get how far through the template, and so on. So they're just a very simple analysis chart under the templates menu, analyze popularity, and what we have here is a column chart, a bar chart for each of your templates. So here's write a great poem, and here's find the right publisher for my poem, and I can see from the numbers and colour coding that what we've got here is there are 4 people using my write a great poem. 2 are live, 1's achieved and 1's postponed, and then we've got 1 person who's live with find the right publisher for my poem. So what this is telling me is that only half of the people who complete my first template are moving on to my second one, so I might want to try and make the message there stronger, or I might want to try and contact these people and find out why. I might want to take some of the steps from the second template and put them in the first one, for example. Also, I might want to speak to the people who've postponed the template and find out whether the timescales were realistic or not. And the people who've abandoned, there may well be a good reason for that. but it might be worth finding out why. Did I not have the correct description in my profile, for example? So just from this very simple set of bar charts, you can actually start to infer some really quite useful questioning for improving your templates. So there you go, that's the analysis of template usage and what different stages people have got to with all of your different templates. Okay, promised that I would share one critical thing to do which will save you a lot of time, particularly as you get busier. When we meet with our key clients regularly, there can be a lot of prep to do to pull together exactly what they've been doing, to format it in a nice way, to create a picture of the recent history that you can comment on, add value, use as a stimulus for your discussions moving forward. So what you can do with GoalStormer is you can actually set up scheduled reports using the Pro Hub. And GoalStormer will then send you a PDF document as an email attachment, which will arrive in your inbox. You can have a read of it, you can comment on it, you can provide your insight and forward that on to the customer. And GoalStormer will do that every third day of every second month or third month or whatever. You can set that schedule up and GoalStormer remembers for you. You don't have to chase how things are, lift the phone and say, we've got a meeting in a week's time, how did you get on with all that stuff? And the client says, I don't remember all the stuff we set up. And you go, well, let me just check back in my notes. And before you know it, there's half an hour gone at least, and then another half hour of follow-up for you and the client. So that disappears because it's all based on the information within GoalStormer, and it's happening automatically. So let's have a look at how we do that. If you go to the users menu, we have progress reports. Now, for people that you support and who support you, and who have you as the coach for one of their goals, so the people that you have a close working relationship with, you can generate a report with a single click of a button. So if you click the preview button here, what you'll get is a nice formatted report which gives you a summary of where the user's goals are. It tells you how their momentum has been over the past 30 days and allows you to dig into color-coded view of both goals with the blue lines here and steps with the color coding here. Now this is something that you can either show on screen in your meetings or you can print ahead of time and take with you. If you need instructions for using it, they're already in this report, so there's nothing really you need to do other than just press that button to generate this report, because it's all constructed from information which has been put in for the goals and which has been updated by the user themselves. Now that's useful. What's really cool is the fact that with the schedule button, what you can do is you can pick a start date and then have a day of the month and then however many months, so maybe in this case it's the 8th day, and that might be of every 1 month, or you could have it every 2 months or 3 or 6 or 12 months or whatever. So if I say that it's going to be the 8th day of every 3 months and save that, what will now happen is that GoalStormer will email me a version of that report that I just showed you, straight into my inbox on the 8th day of every third month. Now that's really useful because it means I don't need to remember to chase that up. I can have a look at that report. It's a PDF that's sent through to me. I can pass some comments on it as I forward it to the user as well. So really useful way of having that information there. The system remembers, I don't need to, it's generated the report for me. I can add a bit of wisdom and insight in my email that I forward on, and that goes straight to the client or the staff member or whoever and gets them ready for the next review that we have with them or whatever it is that we choose. But just taking away that need of having to remember to do that and assemble all the information is actually a massive time saving, so please do use that. Sometimes people will say, I don't want to use a computer system, I'm not very fond of technology or whatever. So there are 3 approaches that we can suggest which would help you in those circumstances. So the first one is to say, look, I know that you may not want to use this all the time, but if you go in and create the account, what I can then do is I can create the goals in my account as your coach or mentor or manager and transfer them to you just with an email. And then all that will happen is you'll receive the emails every day or every week. And what that means is that when the GoalStormer mail like this comes through into their inbox, there is a link which you can see under the overdue steps there. It says step drop an internal marketing plan and then the word done. So when the user clicks on there, that marks that step as done without them having to log in. So it can be a useful way to manage people who don't want to use the web interface but are happy with email. The second option is that you create the dummy account for them using their email address, so make sure that they're happy to receive the emails, of course, and as before, you create the goals in your account and transfer them to them. It means a little bit more upfront work for you, but what the user then sees is they just get an email every day or every week, which they're responding to clicking on the done links, and that means that they're now updating the information for you. The last option is that they don't use GoalStormer at all. You create a dummy account for them with one of your email addresses, and you put the data in and track it there. Now, although that sounds like a lot of work for you to do, and how does that move you forward? Well, it means that you've still got a central platform for all the data that you're working with across all of your clients, both those people who are confident with technology and those who aren't. So those are the three approaches that we suggest for people who might not immediately want to work with a web tool. Now, if you want to improve your templates or make changes and see what the impact is, this is how you do A/B testing very briefly in GoalStormer. In the same way that you made your first template from a goal, you make a second template by copying that same goal. Then ideally make one change at a time to the template, so that might be adding a step or changing the profile text, for example. And then you can either publish both templates, your existing one and the one you've just created, or you can make one draft and the other live and then swap them over after a month, say. The reason you might pick one over the other is, let's say for example you were improving the profile text, so putting new keywords in, then you might want to make both profiles live to see which one people end up using. Whereas if you're changing the content of the template, the steps, or the text of the goal itself, then you probably want to switch between draft and live, so that what you're doing is you're looking at how people respond to the one choice they've got. Is that choice more or less compelling? And then you use that simple analysis chart with a bar chart of how the templates are performing, and just have a look at how the proportions change in terms of the people who are achieving more with the goal, and how many people are taking longer or abandoning it, or so on. So very quickly, just using the very basic tools that are in there, that's how you do A/B testing in GoalStormer. Once you've created your template, it's time to tell people that it exists and help them to find it and use it. The first thing they can do is they can go to the search box on the Tools tab, pick templates, and then search for the template title that you tell them, or they could search for your username, or just do a keyword search which will match some of the words you put in the profile. Or of course, you can send them the first template web link once you've published the template to live, remember, so that's this link here. Or, if people are not already users, you can send them the second link, which will register them as a new user and give them your template as well. It doesn't matter if the person's already a user and you send them the second link, GoalStormer will figure that out and just give them the template even though they're a registered user already. So that's how you take all the good work that you've done to systemize your process as a template and get people to know about it and use it. Well, I hope that was really useful for you. Now here's the thing, if you're not already a Pro subscriber, whether you ever buy anything again from me or not, please do register for a GoalStormer account and use it for your own goals, and test me on this. I'm going to show you how to try every Pro feature for free for 60 days. And you can go out and do this right now. And please remember, this is not just theory. It's exactly what I do to support and manage my mentoring clients. It's exactly the same principle as well if you've got established processes, or if you're new to this and want to develop your own systems. So, what's it really all about? Well, it's about freedom to use your time the way that you want to, efficiently. It's about boosting your profitability and having more of a life. It's about making a difference to more people with your experience and knowledge. It's about doing that without having to have that awkward time on the phone or nagging people and chasing them by email. It's about making time with people much more valuable by focusing on them, not administrative tasks like form filling. Now, I'm not exactly sure why you're watching right now. It might be because you're fed up of the effort it takes to run your coaching or consulting business when really you want to focus on the human contact. It might be because you want to coach and manage your staff more proactively but feel that you're really struggling for time. It might be that you want to start a coaching business and need a quick, easy way to get going, not spending hours chasing updates when you should be selling and talking and engaging. So if that's the case, I hope that you really get this one thing, that you can use GoalStormer as a platform to grow your business and make a bigger impact on more people with what you know, just like I've done. I took what I knew about getting groups of people to achieve and I made it into a system, GoalStormer, so that you can do the same. So I guess the obvious question is, how do I take what I offer, my mentoring or management stuff, and get more and more people using it? You have a choice. You can do it slow. You can use trial and error like I did to start with, lots of notes, phone calls, emails, Excel spreadsheets. Or you can do it quickly using the experience that we've designed and built into GoalStormer Pro. Einstein famously said that everything in life should be as simple as possible, but not simpler. And that's what we're aiming for. GoalStormer Pro is designed to give you a platform, everything that you need to support people with goals and ambitions. It's a place to systemize and organize your offerings. It's a place to engage with your clients or your staff. And it's a place to collate and pull together all that progress data. It generates automated reports that save you time. It gives you interactive dashboards and simple charts that give you insight quickly. Basically, it's a super fast way to get from just having great ideas and experience through to having happy people in a scalable, growing and manageable business. Basically, it helps you do this, navigate a route through the landscape to where you want to be, rather than this, just taking a leap of faith. So what exactly is GoalStormer Pro? It's web software in two main modules, the GoalStormer normal user interface and the Pro Hub designed for coaches and mentors. It's available all the time through your web browser, there's nothing to install or update. And it comes with built-in help tips and help screens and support email. And crucially, nothing's left out. GoalStormer Pro subscribers get all the platform features. The GoalStormer web app, well, you could use it for your own goals as well as for your clients. Use the system the way your clients do, become their trusted guide and advisor, hold yourself to account, or work with your own mentor. GoalStormer Pro also allows you to create and publish templates. These give easy access to your knowledge and offerings even when you're not around, which is another potential source of leads. You can mix private and published templates, which allows you to attract using public templates and maybe up or cross-sell using private templates. It's about trading value to help people see why they should engage more with you and get onto your paid programs. GoalStormer Pro also gives you groups. You can set up groups of users organised by interest or location, whether that's geographical or their position in the company org chart. You can organise by intake if you run a regular program, or whatever you want to do. And you can use these groups to let people access your added value content, your templates and web resources. You can send quick updates to just the members of a group within GoalStormer to streamline your communications. And of course, you can track progress and analyse performance on a group by group basis. As a pro, you can set up license agreements for other users. So this means that you can provide licenses to users that you pick for as long as you decide, so you can build your own community, and it gives people another reason to stick with you. There are lots of resources to help you and your users learn how to use GoalStormer to best effect. For users, look for the help tips with the little green circles which open up help screens. That helps users get to grips with things fast. We've got webinars with detailed user guides so that you can learn what you need at your own pace. There are lots of tips videos which are available for quick reminders or ideas for doing new things. And we've got an ebook coming up called Guerrilla GoalStormer, 7 Steps for Busy Mentors to Build Brilliant People, which pretty much does what it says on the tin. So how much will GoalStormer cost you? Well, bear in mind that if you were to engage me on a consulting basis, depending on the number of days, it'd be a minimum of £1,050 for each day. Our typical projects are sort of 5 to 25,000, can go up to as high as 60 or 70,000 for big projects, but we're usually booked several months ahead. And as well as all of the years spent building my experience, I've spent several thousand development hours bringing GoalStormer from concept to reality. You'll be pleased to know that GoalStormer will cost you a tiny fraction of those figures. In fact, you can get started today for £240. That immediately gets you all the pro features, and that's for a whole year. And of course, you can try all this for free for 60 days first. But do please decide soon, because we're going to be moving to a monthly fee model in 2016, and so the annual bundle price will no longer be available. And of course, you'll be getting much more for your business too. You'll be getting efficiency because you're making your knowledge repeatable, write once and use many times. You'll have a hands-off marketing tool. Your free templates, for example, can generate warm leads. You can build communities of brand advocates with groups and updates. And as well as saving your own time, you'll save clients' time because their data is all in one place too. There are no lengthy phone calls that you've got to chase to try and get them to remember what they were doing when you last talked. And if you help businesses that you work with improve their accountability with GoalStormer, then that can get you involved in bigger projects where you make a greater impact and are perceived and genuinely do create higher value. And referral fees, which are part of GoalStormer, can build a new revenue stream for your business. Now, you can get these slides and more at web.goalstormer.com/learn. So let's sum up. If you want to systemize your processes and help more clients achieve more things that matter without wasting valuable time on admin tasks, then this is the ideal platform for you. It's a blend of people, process and technology capabilities, and I've built exactly what I needed when I started. This would have saved me weeks getting started and hours every week. And remember, you get all of the features plus email support in the Pro subscription. So to get started right now, go to this page, www.goalstormer.com/gsregister.php, register for your account, and then look at the top right hand corner or on the confirmation screen for the upgrade button and click that. When you click the upgrade button, you'll see the upgrade page on the left here, and you can either click on the try for 60 days link. It says 30 here but it's 60 now, so try for 60 days link, or you can click on the upgrade to Pro button. Now if you click the upgrade to Pro button, then you'll see this PayPal page on the right hand side, and you'll see Critical Action Limited at the top. That's our parent company, and that's the name that will appear on your PayPal invoice. So go through the PayPal process and that upgrades your account. Perhaps you're not completely convinced yet that GoalStormer is exactly right for your business. Well, that's why we give you all of the Pro features for free for 60 days. And we're not going to take any payment details in order to get those 60 days, because if you don't see the value for your business, there's nothing more to do. There's no cancellation email to send. There's no action that you need to take. But even then, of course, you can still use GoalStormer standard for yourself for free with our compliments for your own goals. But after 60 days, if you do like it, then yeah, go ahead, buy a Pro subscription. You get immediate access following https://www.goalstormer.com/gsregister.php. That allows you to register for an account, so you can click on the upgrade button on the confirmation screen or at the top right of the web app when you're logged in, so that you can upgrade to a Pro subscription.